AB 882.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. I present to you today Assembly Bill 882. First of all, I want to thank the Chair and the committee staff for all their hard work on this bill, and I will be accepting the committee amendments which modifies quote-unquote economic life provisions to more closely align with the federal tax code provisions. In November 2000, the voters passed Proposition 39, a constitutional amendment which, among other things, gives school districts and community colleges the opportunity to seek approval of a local general obligation bond based on a 55% vote. On top of using bond funds for the construction and modernization of schools, local education agencies use bond funds to furnish and equip school facilities, including furniture such as desks, as well as desktop computers and other forms of technology. With the committee amendments, AB 882 would implement a state standard for the use of bond funds to purchase furniture and equipment. Federal regulations generally require that portions of an issue used to finance capital projects must have a, quote, weighted average maturity, end quote, that does not exceed 120% of the average reasonably expected economic life of the capital projects being financed. These provisions in this bill are similar, but are not identical to the federal tax code. The changes in this bill makes the language more consistent with the overall issuance of bond programs independent of the federal standard. My objective with this bill is to actually protect taxpayers, and I think having this standard not only protects taxpayers, but is actually good government, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there folks in support of the bill? Is there opposition to the bill?
Good morning, Rebecca Curley on behalf of the Coalition for Adequate School Housing and the Community College Facility Coalition. We have an oppose unless amended position on the language that's currently in print, and we do appreciate the staff's analysis and comments regarding whether or not the provisions of the bill are necessary. Our concerns are essentially that we want to make sure that the language in print does not impact the structure of long-term GO bonds, and we really want to avoid any unintended consequences or inconsistencies between the federal code and the state law. We do believe that the staff's suggested amendments would address our concerns, and we are reviewing the language in more detail and hope to be able to remove our opposition.
Thank you very much. Right.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee and staff. Martha Alvarez on behalf of San Diego Unified School District. We also have an opposed position on the bill on the premise that we don't think the bill is necessary. As it's indicated in the staff analysis, there's already federal law, the tax regulation and other parts of the code that stipulates that the maturity of the bond has to match the lifespan of the project. We think that that is sufficient. It's already, the author of the bill also indicated there's already federal provisions. So this would be in a way maybe duplicative. It might be different than the federal tax code. So we don't think that the bill is necessary. The other comment I'll make, there's no known evidence that any school districts in California have abused the federal law or what's in statute. And that's just to say that if districts were to abuse or change or not comply with federal law, we would incur any tax penalties, federal tax penalties. So by law, we have to comply with federal law, otherwise we'd be in big trouble. We have financial advisors, bond counsel, and other professionals who ensure that districts comply with law. So we just simply don't think the bill is necessary. However, we do appreciate the author in the amendments that were made in the first house. We will review the amendments proposed by the staff and taken by the author today if the bill moves forward. But simply, we just think that there's no known problem out there, and we already comply with federal law. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, any other opposition? Any questions from members? Okay, they have taken the suggested amendments on page 3 of the analysis. Assemblymember Wilk, would you like closing remarks?
Yes, absolutely, Madam Chair. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who testified. We have been working concurrently, and I think at least half the opposition will be satisfied with the amendments we've taken here today. This also, if it move forward, goes to governance and finance, so we have an opportunity to continue to dialogue. The genesis for this bill, frankly, is last August I was meeting with stakeholders at one of my elementary school districts, and they wanted to do a bond, and they asked me to endorse it. I endorsed the bond, and I came home, and my wife started yelling at me, and she whips out our tax bill, and, you know, there was already 2 community college bonds on there, which I was on the community college board, 2 high school bonds, and this was going to be 2 bonds for the elementary school district, along with some water infrastructure bonds. So over the 12 years that we've lived in this home, our property taxes doubled because of bond indebtedness. So all this is really, and, you know, yes, there are federal guidelines, but that doesn't mean we should have our own state standard, because the federal standards could change. So really what I'm looking to do is drive up people's comfort level to support such measures by putting in place safeguards so people know that their money's being spent effectively and efficiently. And that's all I'm looking to do with this bill, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Okay, thank you. With that, the bill has been moved, and it's going to Governance and Finance, correct?
Do pass as amended to Governance and Finance. Halou?
Aye.
Halou, aye. Runner? Aye. Runner, aye. Block? Block, aye. Hancock? Leyva? Leyva, aye. Mendoza? Monning? Pan? Vidak? Aye. Vidak, aye. That's 5.
You have 5 votes, sufficient for passage. We'll keep the roll open for our absent members.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members.
Thank you very much. Okay, last but not least, Assemblymember Holden. You have item 9, AB 915.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Senators. I'd like to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present Assembly Bill 915, a measure relating to public school employees. AB 915 would remove archaic and stringent travel restrictions placed on classified and certified school employees. Existing law prohibits classified and certified employees who are on leave and receiving workers' compensation from traveling outside the state unless the governing board approves that travel. Circumstances may come up when an employee must travel outside the state to visit sick relatives, attend emergency situations, or take care of emergency child care needs. School boards may not have sufficient time to call a meeting to approve the request. AB 915 will align the Education Code with the Labor Code and remove unfair practices against school employees. This is a simple and straightforward bill, and I thank you and respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Okay, those in support of the bill.
Madam Chair and Senators, Seth Bramble here on behalf of the California Teachers Association in support of Assembly Bill 915. When educators choose to work in public schools, they may not realize they're choosing the only working environment where the travel restriction described by the Assembly member is in statute. And so why isolate teachers? In fact, this statute doesn't apply only to teachers, but to all educators who work in both classified and certificated, but only educators, not DMV clerks, not firefighters, only educators. And so, I mean, the front line of public education begins when with that first bus ride in the morning and ends when the custodian turns out the lights at night. Certainly educators know the crucial role played by thousands of paraprofessionals, custodians, office workers, cafeteria workers, bus drivers. It would be difficult to imagine a school going one day without education support professionals. In CTA vocabulary, we call these hardworking men and women ESPs, and I've brought with me the president of the elected president of Redlands ESP Association, representing education support professionals who are also impacted by this irrational law. These ESPs are the ones who ensure that our students are well fed, are safe, and are learning. I'll let him introduce himself, but we do ask for your support this morning. CTA believes that the rules for workers' compensation should not be more punitive for educators than for other workers in the state of California, and we ask for your aye vote.
Okay, thank you. Support.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Committee members, my name is Dan Kivett. I am currently the president of Redlands ESP. I'm also a supervising sergeant for the Department of Safety and Security for the Redlands Unified School District. This matter actually came up because of one of my members happened to fall under these situations. He was injured during a breaking up of a fight and tore his Achilles. Although he was on the road to recovery and had limited abilities because of his job and duties, he was not able to be released fully back to work. Subsequently, one day prior to the winter break, he was called by a relative in Texas notifying me he had a gravely ill aunt and that he needed to get there. He, through a situation of circumstances, was notified by the workers' comp administrator that he was not allowed to leave the state of California for any reason. Subsequently, he called the association and I received his phone call looking for answers to why this could be possible. I called CTA staff people, attorneys that I have had dealings with in the past. Nobody could find it. Subsequently, they found it in the education code. I was told that obviously meeting the Brown Act and getting a committee, the board together to agree to let him leave was not going to be efficiently done nor in a timely manner given the time of the year. As you're well aware, emergencies don't happen at convenient times during board members or during the 8 to 5. I myself have on a number of occasions, unfortunately, gotten that 2 a.m. call saying that if you want to see them, get there. I've lost both my parents. Fortunately, I still have my in-laws that live approximately 3.5 hours away from my home. They live in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. I am not allowed to go there without permission. Although if they lived in Weed, California, more than 10 hours away, I would be allowed to do that. I just have a real problem with a law that seems to almost sound discriminatory because I have chosen a profession in the public education sector rather than any other public or private employment that I am bound by different rules than other folks. I encourage you and am pleading with you to make this law right for everybody.
Thank you. In support.
Madam Chair and members, Kendra Harris with the California Federation of Teachers. We're also in strong support of this measure. As you've heard from the other witness testimony, we feel that this is an injustice and that our school employees shouldn't be treated separately than other public employees and should have the ability to travel out of state when emergencies or other needs arise. So we ask for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, Mitch Seaman with the California Labor Federation. We'd echo the comments of previous witnesses and also stress our support for the bill. As mentioned, a variety of legitimate reasons exist why an injured worker would need to travel, which is why the Labor Code contains no sort of similar travel restriction for any other kind of worker. Just because a worker is too injured to stand in front of a classroom for 8 hours a day or mop floors all day or drive a bus all day doesn't mean that they're too injured to travel. That's why we'd like to see this bill passed. And we would also make the point that one of the primary goals of the workers' compensation system is to make sure that workers take the time they need to recover so that they can come back to work 100%. And the research shows that the more that workers turn away from what goes on in the rest of their lives, the more that they don't continue to do the normal activities that they can, the less likely that they are to actually do what they need to do to recover and come back to work at 100%. So we urge your support.
Thank you. In support.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. Tristan Brown from the California School Employees Association. For all the reasons you've already heard, we are in strong support of this bill and urge an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any others in support of the bill? Is there opposition?
Madam Chair, members, Jeff Frost, representing the Orange County Department of Ed. I think if I heard Mr. Bramble's witness testimony, I'd probably vote for this bill too. The reason for our opposition, and I have no idea why this statute is in place, but it has been for a while. My clients indicate that the statute promotes healing, that while there are stories like what you have heard today, there are also stories where people want to go on vacation, they go to Disney World. Those are concerns that my clients have, and for that reason, they're in opposition to the bill. What we did indicate is that probably a board resolution is cumbersome. If you had superintendent or superintendent designee sign off, it could happen more quickly. That would be something that we would urge the committee to consider. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Laura Preston, Association of California School Administrators. And just to add a couple more things and not be redundant, when somebody is on industrial leave, they're considered working. It'd be the same thing, we're paying them their salaries. As an employer, we expect them to be getting better. We want to make sure that our employees, when they're hurt or they're sick, that they're making sure they're going to the doctor, doing the rehabilitation, doing all those things. Clearly, accidents happen, and clearly there's emergencies where someone does need to leave the state, and that's why we've proposed amendments that would allow that either it's the board or the superintendent's designee, that would be the sign-off. And really, it's just to make sure that while you're still an employee, if you are working, if you weren't injured, you'd be asking for permission to leave, to be gone. We feel that that's the same consideration that should be granted if we're paying you full-time to be getting better. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Assemblymember Holden, going back to you, addressing the opposition.
Well, I think certainly all I can say is life happens. And we are doing our best to try to recognize real situations that happen to people who are on jobs who find themselves debilitated because of the work accident. And I have kids in college, and if I needed to travel to New York to see Mariah, I would have to, and I couldn't reach even a supervisor, I would not want to feel constrained to go to the aid of my daughter. So I think the bill is straightforward. I think it is responsive to real-life situations that happen in the lives of people, and I ask for your aye vote.
Okay, Senator Block.
This is very easy. Like the opposition witness, having heard the testimony, I will be supporting the bill, and I'll move the bill.
Thank you. Any others, comments from members? Senator Vida?
Yeah, again, the testimony was awesome, but I mean, fraud is fraud, and this, I support this. This is absolutely great. I can't believe it's a law, so.
Okay, and the bill has been moved. Closing remark?
I just respectfully ask for the committee's endorsement and support.
Thank you. Okay, let's call the roll.
Do pass to the floor. Lou?
Aye.
Lou, aye. Runner? Aye. Runner, aye. Block? Aye. Block, aye. Hancock? Aye. Hancock, aye. Leyva? Aye. Leyva, aye. Mendoza? Monning? Aye. Monning, aye. Pan? Aye. Pan, aye. Vidak?
Aye.
Vidak, aye. That's 8-0.
Okay, 8-0, the bill is out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, members, let's go back to the roll. If you were here all the time, you are excused. However, for those of you who weren't, we'll go painfully through this item.
We'll do consent first.
Okay, let's do consent. Consent is 7 items, item 4, 6, 8, 12, 15, 17, and 18. Please call the absent members.
Chair voting aye. Vice Chair aye. Block? Aye. Block aye. Hancock? Aye. Hancock aye. That's 8-0.
8-0, the bills are out. Okay, item 1, AB 30.
Chair voting aye. Runner? Leyva? Aye. Leyva aye. Mendoza? That's 7-1.
7-1, the bill is out. Item 2, AB 147, DeBonne.
Do pass as amended to appropriations. Chair voting aye, Vice Chair no. Hancock? Aye. Hancock aye. Mendoza? Monning? Aye. Monning aye. Pan? Aye. Pan aye. That's 7-1.
7-1, that bill is out. Item 3, AB 517, Gallagher.
Do pass to appropriations. Chair voting aye, Vice Chair aye. Hancock? Aye. Hancock aye. Mendoza? Monning? Okay, that's 7-0.
7-0, that bill is out. Item 5, AB 715, Daley.
Do pass as amended. Chair voting aye, Vice Chair aye. Block? Aye. Block aye. Hancock? Aye. Hancock aye. Mendoza? Monning? Aye. Monning aye. That's 8-0.
8-0, that bill is out. Item 7, AB 882, Wilk.
Do pass as amended to Governance and Finance. Chair voting aye, Vice Chair aye. Hancock? Aye. Hancock, aye. Mendoza? Monning? Monning, aye. Pan? Aye. Pan, aye. That's 8-0.
8-0, the bill is out. Item 9, we just dispense with, that's AB 915 Holden. Item 11, AB 969 Williams.
Do pass as amended to Appropriations. Chair voting aye, Vice Chair aye. Hancock? Aye. Hancock, aye. Mendoza? 8-0.
8-0, the bill is out. Item 13, AB 1153 Calderon.
Do pass to Appropriations. Chair voting aye, Vice Chair aye. Block? Aye. Block, aye. Hancock? Aye. Hancock, aye. Mendoza? It's 8-0.
8-0, that bill is out. Item 14, AB 1185 Ridley Thomas.
Do pass to Senate Appropriations Committee. Chair voting aye, Vice Chair no. Hancock? Aye. Hancock, aye. Mendoza? Pan? Aye. Pan, aye.
And item 16, AB 1431 Gomez, oh, I'm sorry, it's 6-2, that bill is out. Item 16, AB 1431 Gomez.
Do pass as amended to Appropriations. Chair voting aye, Vice Chair no. Hancock? Aye. Hancock, aye. Mendoza? And that's 7-2.
7-2, that bill is out.
Hold on. I'm sorry, that's 6-2.
6-2, I'm sorry. AB 1431 Gomez is item, it's 6-2, that bill is out. Okay, thank you, members. Look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, and the bill load is close to 23. So with Roger's concurrence, we're going to have a lot of bills on consent. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.